What is going on, and welcome back to the Journeyman with me, FoggyPlays, on FM22. Today, well, something interesting is after happening. We have a little story time. We've been offered a job, we've taken it, but there's a little bit of, like I said, a little bit of a story on how we got there. So sit back, relax, and I'm going to talk you through everything that's gone on since you were here last. So if you do want to enjoy this episode, do make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Right, fellas, so we're going to have a quick look at our profile, and then I'm going to talk you through what has happened. We've completely forgotten about our time in China, which that was still there for up until recently, I think. So we've just forgotten about it, just forgotten, it even existed. We were never there. We speak English, Irish, Czech and Latvian fluently, and we speak good Chinese, so that's pretty good. We've got a 3.5-star reputation, which is fantastic. But as you can see, 22nd of January, this doesn't ruin anything, that's fine. As you can see, the transfer window doesn't open until the 26th in Czech Republic, so that means that we've not really done anything since you were here last. We've played a few games since the Shakhtar game. We beat, just in the most recent competitive game, beat Sparta Prague, which was fantastic. And I did say we're going to come back for the Genk games, which would have been in the midst of the transfers. But as I said, we've not done any transfers because the window hasn't opened yet. There's a lot of deals that have gone through, but we don't care about those right now because it's got nothing to do with us. So, story starts with what's his name? What am I saying? What's his name? It starts with, okay, I'm just gonna talk you through it. So Man United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as you're aware, in the last episode, and that kind of kicked everything off. So Solskjaer got sacked, and then AC Milan lost, should I say, their manager to Manchester United. I think it was Ten Hag. So then the AC Milan job was available, which my name got mentioned in. I was like, that's fantastic. A team in the top 4 divisions knows that I exist, which is delightful. So never got offered a job, no big deal, whatever, it's fine. I didn't expect to get offered AC Milan because they were second in the league at the time, just won Serie A this last season. I think they were Serie A champions last year, so I didn't expect that to happen. We did, however, before that, get offered a job with Spurs, who, if I show you the Premier League, I didn't take it because they were 17th at the time. And they're still 17th. It was just 1 point. So Tottenham was a job that I looked at and kind of went, that'd be pretty fun. As you can see, Man United are 12th. I think they were 15th at the time. Arsenal also sacked their manager, Ralph Hasenhüttl, after winning the Champions League last year. They were down in like between 8th and 11th or something. So went to the interview. They came to me. I didn't apply for it. They came to me and said, do you want the job? Did the interview. That was grand. Offered me the job. In the interview, Daniel Levy said, we don't expect anything this year. We're not going to set any expectations. I was like, that's perfectly fine. Came to contract time. They wanted Europa League. I was like, are you for real? And it wasn't like, we'd like if you got Europa League. Battling against relegation, we'd like if you got Europa League. No, it was required. I'm like, you could get relegated. So, obviously, I didn't accept the job. Like I said, 2 points separates Tottenham from Stoke. Interestingly, the person that took the Tottenham job was actually Stevie G. That comes in quite important because we took Stevie G's job. So Stevie G is now in charge of Spurs. I don't think he's had any... Oh, he's had a couple of games in charge, actually. He's been there 17 days and he's already played 5 games. How is their schedule? I know they need to play some pretty big teams. Also, the fact that they weren't in Europe was a little bit of a, don't really want to be taking on a team. I don't want to be going from a team in the Europa League where we were doing quite well in the Champions League and then jumping to a team that aren't in any sort of league whatsoever. They're rich, but at the same time, eh. But so we rejected the Spurs offer. Dele Alli, actually a favoured personnel, said that to anybody in real life, they'd be like, no, he is not. So yeah, Spurs offered me the job. I didn't take it because of the ridiculous expectations, but we have taken Stevie G's old job, so he's slipped his way over to Spurs, and we have taken the job at. Is it going to? No, it's not. It's not going to ruin it. We have taken a job at. Drum roll, please. As you can see, Panak is leaving as well. His contract was actually running out, and Salimi also left as well. But we've joined Atalanta, 7th in Serie A, and they came to me and just was like, "Hey, do you want the job?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll interview for it. We'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work out, but we've gone to Italy." Interestingly, Man United paid nearly 20 million to move to Man United. Andrei Shevchenko was considered the favourite for the job, but no, we've taken it. In a move which is sure to spark plenty of heated debate, FoggyPlays has left Slovan Liberec to join Atalanta. Slovan Liberec, top of the Czech division, and still in the Europa League. Atalanta, also still in the Europa League. So I think we're playing one round later with Atalanta because they topped their group. First game in charge is against Napoli on the 25th, so I think we have 3 days. Players will face pressure to bring immediate success, having stepped up from his previous standing to take sole charge, and will need to hit the ground running if he is to win over those who believe his appointment is a questionable decision. Prefers to play a 4-2-3-1. That was what we played for Slovan. I have an idea of what we're going to be using this time around. Atalanta have won 3 of their last 5 games in the league, have recorded 4 wins and 1 defeat in their last 5. Currently sitting 7th in the division, which is where the media expected us to finish. So hopefully the players like us. We'll be moving stadiums soon. Fantastic, superb training facilities, superb youth facilities, exceptional youth recruitment. Let's see what we're looking at. I've had a quick look at the team. There is 100 players on the books. So what they expect is a high tempo pressing football, develop players using the club's youth system, entertaining attacking football, sign players under the age of 23 for the first team, make the most of set pieces, sign players under the age of 20 for the future. The director of football actually looks pretty decent, so I'm not overly worried about that. The 5-year plan is to develop players for a profit, work within the wage budget, minimum 3-year contract for first team players. Again, nothing to do with me. Develop the best youth system in the world. I can ask for it and we'll see what happens. Maximum contracts for players who are super old. They want us to reach the quarterfinals, qualify for the Europa Conference League through the league, and reach the quarterfinal of the Coppa Italia. So, bit of a step up. Yeah, we're going to do every month, and we will schedule a press conference with a youth intake, which is going to be excellent. We have 3 strikers potentially coming through, who seem to be okay. We have a forward, so one of those 3 seems to be pretty decent. We have a good attacking midfielder. Nice. No wing backs, no defensive midfielders, no wide midfielders. Central midfielders aren't great. Goalkeeper doesn't look great. Wingers don't look great. Fullbacks don't look great. Strikers, yeah, we don't have a huge amount of things. So we have some of these. That's Okay. So I haven't yet to look at the team, but we don't actually have that many players. It's 12 players that are running out of contract. 12 players, and there's 100 in the squad, or in the team that are Atalanta players. Playing time expectations. There's a lot of expectations here. Ho, ho, ho. Season expectations. So we don't have a huge amount of time left in the transfer window, it being the 22nd. The window closes on the 31st, so we have a little over a week. I haven't seen any transfers for, none in, 4 out. Not made any money though, so they must all be loans. Pablo Fernandes has joined Fiorentina. Interesting. Fiorentina, just want to point out, Patrick Vieira got sacked. He was favoured to take over at Arsenal, declared his interest in Arsenal, and Fiorentina sacked him. So, yikes. Let's have a look at the league. So yeah, we are currently sitting 7th. We did win our Europa League group, so we're through the next round without having to play it. I would love to draw Slovan Liberec, because that would be perfect. Like, imagine playing the team we just left with the team that we've joined. Question is, do the players like it? How many players? Okay, so nobody cares. We haven't spoke to them yet. We have an average managerial support, which is fine. Club atmosphere is good. Team cohesion's good. Everything's looking pretty fruity. I do need to have a look and see what the player. Okay, so by the looks of it, our goalkeepers are a bit trash. This is a bloated first team, so we do need to shift some of these players out of the team regardless. And we have, again, quite a busy B team, or under 20s, and the under 18s not so bad. We'll have a look and see what we have player wise. I'm gonna create a tactic. I'll bring it back in just a second to show you what said tactic is going to look like. Like I said, I have an idea. Let's see how it works. Do we have the players for the tactic I want to play? But yeah, we'll be back in just a second for that, so don't go anywhere. Should be interesting. Welcome to Atalanta. Right, fellas, so as you can see, this is the tactic we're going to be using. This is kind of more or less what I was hoping to play with. Obviously didn't know exactly what the players were going to be like, but I think this is probably the way we're going to play it. We'll see how we get on, because our first game is against top of the league Napoli, managed by Brendan Rodgers. So don't expect too much from from that game, but we do have some pretty good players in the team. Odero is the first choice goalkeeper, and he has been since last season. Came from Sampdoria. Played pretty well when he has played. Played 20 games. He's played all the league games, so he's been fairly good. I did want to play at least one wide centre back. We don't really have too many centre backs. Valentini is, we have a little bit of an oldish side, it has to be said. But he's pretty good. He is 3.5 stars, important player in his prime years. If the transfer window is still open, so if any of these players get big offers, I hope the Direct Football accepts them. Jim City is a 35-year-old, but he is one of our best centre backs, which not ideal. And Casas is going to be another one of our main centre backs. To be fair, he's pretty decent. I think he's not played too many. He played pretty much all of last season. He's been important. But yeah, Jim City is, like you can see, marking and tackling of 16, anticipation, bravery, and strength quite high. I do want to keep him, and he's played 300 times for the club, so can't go wrong with that. The guy is pretty good. As our right wing back, this is a position I'm not 100% sure on who's going to play because we don't have a huge amount of players, but this guy is probably the best. He's 5'7", so he's not going to be the one that'll jump the most, but he has good technique. Mentally, he's not terrible. Hasn't got a huge amount of flair, so we are going to play him as the wing back on support because his crossing isn't great either. So just leave him be kind of the slightly more defensive player. Yeah, feels there's a lack of depth at centre back. I would tend to agree. Christiansen is going to be our left wing back. He's pretty good. I think if we were to play with wingers, he'd actually be a pretty decent left winger. I know he's only a makeshift, but I think he'd actually be pretty decent. But he is quite good at playing the old wing back position anyway. Came from Fulham. We paid so much money for this guy. Oh my god. Then we've Ugarte, who's going to be playing as our Carrilero, because I did consider playing a box-to-box. Like I train all my players I want in central midfield as box-to-box midfielders, because it's the one that kind of covers the most in terms of attributes. But as a Carrilero, I think Ugarte could be a pretty decent player, and we paid a nice sum for him, not a huge amount of money. So I'm pretty happy with the fact that we have him, because I never actually managed Ugarte. So be interesting to see how he gets on. Alongside him, we're going to have running Johann Jorgensen, or Norwegian 26-year-old who's only played 4 times for Norway, but he's going to be a Mazzella, and I think it kind of hits all of what's good about his game. To be fair, he's only played 7 times so far for us. I paid 3.2 million for him. He played at Inter he was an Inter player for a little while. Didn't really play too many games, but still, that's not the important. The important thing is he's good. Pessina is probably our best player. We're gonna have him as an advanced playmaker just because he's a pretty sound all-round player. Can play as a striker as well, and potentially as like a pressing forward would be ideal. But we'll have to wait and see how the two up front get on, because we don't have a huge amount of goals in our squad, from what I've seen. Sutil is the second highest goal scorer, and he's a decent striker, but I think he's more of a right back. I know he's only got 5 tackling, but he's the kind of player that I want playing as my right wing back. So he's got 17 agility. This guy pretty decent, but again, I don't think he's a striker. Kakitore. I'll have to give him a nickname. He has agility of 20, acceleration and balance of 17, pace of 16, determination of 17, off the ball of 16. This guy, he's pretty good. Previously of Napoli. He's not really scored many goals in his career. I looked at attributes and put players in based on that, not so much how many goals they were scoring as strikers, because Shakan was the guy I was going to originally put in the position, but I was going to play it with a false 9 and I've decided to go with the complete forward instead. But he's 5'5", so not really a jumpy player. He's more a run fast player. But yeah, he's a good backup player to have. Previously of Rapid Wien and Sturm Graz. Was at Salzburg for a while. This guy's played in a bunch of different teams. And then Ferraro, who I think is probably our best player. Well, attacking. Why is this saying outside scouting scope? Okay, well, this guy is going to be our complete forward, previously of Spal. Well, he went on loan to Spal in Serie C. Serie C. He's not the most goal scoringest of players, but we'll see how he gets on. This is how we're probably going to be lining up against Napoli, depending on how Christiansen probably won't start that game because of his knock. But we do have. Do we have a left back? Do we have a player who can play here? Bastoni can play here. I'm actually training him to do it. He's pretty good. We'll have to see what happens though, because he's an ex-Napoli player as well. What is going on? We've signed so many Napoli players in the past. We don't have any. We have so many clauses we could buy and sell. That is mental. But we don't have any transfers going on at the minute. But we spent 170 million. But we've gotten in 242 million. So I actually haven't even gone through to see who we sold. Joachim Mal, Albin Lafont would have been a handy player to have, but he's gone to Everton. Illich would have been a nice player to have for central midfield. And so we sold 2 goalkeepers and replaced them with 2 terrible goalkeepers. Fantastic. That is fantastic. We sold a young Portuguese player to Napoli for nearly 7 million. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, we've a bunch of players who've been sent out on loan as well. We have so many affiliates. It's actually, I know Italian clubs have a lot of affiliates, but oh my sweet divine merciful Jesus, look at all these. Like, that is way too many affiliates. I'm assuming most of them don't have like an obligation to pay an annual fee, but like, that's just, there's so many of them. I don't understand why Italian clubs need to have this many affiliates. But I could probably look for another affiliate and they'd be like, oh yeah, not a bother. Although because it's FM, they'd probably be like, you must be joking. Yeah, as it is right now, taking on Brendan Rodgers' Napoli in the next game. 7th in the league. Still plenty of time. We're just past the halfway point of the season. There's a good chance that we'll do decently well. We've played Napoli in the Coppa Italia. We also have the Europa League at some point, or in March, which should be around the time we get our youth intake. Maybe we get some decent youth players. And we end the season against Sassuolo. We're 8th. So we have a interesting run in towards the end. Torino, Roma, Inter. So April's going to be somewhat difficult. And in the not too distant future, we play Juventus, who are 5th, AC Milan, who are 3rd, who are now managed by Ralph Hasenhüttl, who, as I said, was the Champions League winner last season with Arsenal. Not anymore. But yeah, this is probably the way we're going to line up. I do have 2 other tactics set up as well, but this is kind of what I had planned, because it is Italian football. And the last time I managed Napoli, or not Napoli, Atalanta, was in the beta for FM21? Was it Atalanta? I think it was. I think we managed Atalanta in the beta for FM21, and this is pretty much how we played. And we did well. We were acceptable. My hope is that we can just challenge for Champions League for the rest of this season, potentially win the Europa League, and then try and win the Champions League next season. That's the plan for now. But in the next episode, we are going to have a look at the team against Napoli and bottom of the league Verona. Fantastic. We're going to be having the hardest game, potentially the hardest game first, and then what should be an easy game second. So fantastic. So if you have enjoyed this episode, do make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with all of your friends, and of course, I will catch you in the next one when we continue managing Atalanta.